Welcome to Military News Global YouTube channel. There is a moment in aviation history when the world stops and stares at something it wasn't supposed to see. A shape emerges from a hangar shrouded in decades of secrecy, and the silence that follows is heavier than the aircraft itself. That moment happened with the B-2 Spirit in 1988. It happened again with the F-22 Raptor in 1997. And now, quietly, almost without warning, it has happened once more. The silence is over. Now the F-47 is real. Not with fanfare. Not with a press conference. Not with a carefully choreographed Pentagon reveal surrounded by flags and speeches. Instead, it slipped into public awareness the way the most advanced machines always do, through a photograph, a silhouette, a shape that nobody could quite explain. And the moment defense analysts, aerospace engineers, and aviation communities around the world got their first look at what had been hiding inside classified hangars, the conversation changed permanently. This is not a story about a new coat of paint on an existing airframe. This is not a block upgrade or a revised variant. The F-47 represents something that happens perhaps once or twice in a generation of military aviation, a fundamental rethinking of what a fighter aircraft can be, what it should do, and how far beyond the horizon its capabilities should reach. What you are about to hear is not speculation, not rumor, and not dramatized for entertainment. Everything presented in this narration draws from publicly available statements, official acknowledgments, aerospace analysis, and the kind of careful reading between the lines that defense observers have been doing for years. The goal is simple: to give you the clearest, most complete picture possible of what the F-47 actually is, why it matters, and why its arrival changes calculations that the world had grown comfortable making. Buckle in. This story starts long before that photograph ever appeared. The long shadow before the reveal. To understand the F-47, you have to understand the world it was built to operate in, because that world has been shifting underneath everyone's feet for the better part of 2 decades. When the F-22 Raptor entered service in 2005, it was untouchable. Its combination of supercruise capability, thrust vectoring, low observable design, and integrated avionics placed it in a category by itself. The United States Air Force called it a generational leap. Adversary nations called it something they needed to answer. And for a while, the global balance of air power felt stable, not equal, but stable. The leading edge was clearly defined, and it wore American markings. But time does not stand still in aerospace engineering. By the early 2010s, other nations had begun fielding or developing their own 5th-generation platforms. Advanced surface-to-air missile systems grew longer in range, more resistant to jamming, and more capable of tracking targets that older stealth designs had counted on evading. Electronic warfare evolved from a specialty into a first-order battlefield consideration. The electromagnetic spectrum became as contested as physical airspace. Inside the United States Air Force, planners and strategists were watching all of this, and they were drawing uncomfortable conclusions. The F-22, as magnificent as it was, had been designed to fight the threat environment of the 1980s and 1990s. Its internal weapons bays, though innovative for their time, imposed volume constraints on the munitions it could carry. Its radar, though powerful, operated on principles that advanced signal processing techniques were beginning to challenge. And its maintenance burden, the hidden cost of its composites and coatings, was staggering. The F-35, for all its genuine capabilities, had been designed as a multi-role platform serving multiple services across multiple nations. That breadth of mission came with compromises that every serious analyst acknowledged. It was not an air superiority fighter in the same sense the F-22 was. It was something different, a data-gathering, network-connected node in a broader system of systems. Extraordinary in its own right, but not the answer to every question. The question that kept returning, the one that demanded its own dedicated answer, was this: what does air superiority look like in the 2030s and 2040s, when the threat environment will be fundamentally different from anything the existing fleet was designed to address? The program that eventually became the F-47 was the Air Force's attempt to answer that question honestly. What NGAD actually meant. For years, the program lived under the acronym NGAD, Next Generation Air Dominance. To most people outside the defense community, that phrase meant little. To those inside it, it represented one of the most ambitious and expensive aerospace development efforts in American history. NGAD was never a single aircraft program. It was a family of systems, a deliberate architecture that acknowledged something the industry had been slow to accept publicly: no single platform, no matter how capable, can dominate a modern contested environment alone. The era of the lone wolf supersonic ace was over. What was needed instead was a choreographed approach, where a crewed high-performance aircraft served as the conductor of a broader ensemble that included uncrewed loyal wingmen, advanced sensors, electronic warfare systems, and deep integration with space-based assets. The crewed component of that family, the aircraft that would put a human pilot at the center of the orchestra, is what the world now knows as the F-47. Official acknowledgement of the program came in measured doses. The Air Force confirmed that a full-scale flight demonstrator had been built and flown. They confirmed that it had broken records, though they declined to specify which records or by how much. They confirmed that the program would move forward, and they attached a designation to it that carries its own significance: the F-47. The number 47 is not random. Fighter designations in the United States military are not assigned casually. The lineage of American fighter aircraft runs from the P-47 Thunderbolt of World War II, one of the most celebrated American warplanes ever built, a heavy, powerful, rugged machine that could absorb punishment and deliver it in equal measure, through decades of jet-powered evolution to the present day. By designating this aircraft the F-47, the Air Force was making a statement. They were drawing a line from one of their most legendary platforms directly to their most advanced one. It was a deliberate choice, and deliberate choices in military nomenclature always carry meaning. The aircraft itself, what is known. Here is where things become both fascinating and necessarily incomplete, because the F-47 remains a classified program, and the details that have entered the public domain represent only a fraction of what the aircraft is capable of. What we know begins with the airframe. The F-47 is large for a fighter aircraft. This is not an accident, and it is not a compromise. Size in a fighter serves specific purposes. It allows for larger internal weapons bays, which means more munitions carried without sacrificing stealth by hanging weapons externally. It allows for more internal fuel volume, which translates directly to range, and the kind of vast operational theaters that define modern strategic competition, is not a luxury. It is a survival requirement. The propulsion system of the F-47 is described in official statements as something that has never been fielded before. The Air Force has indicated that the engine technology represents a generational advancement, which in the context of jet propulsion means improvements in thrust-to-weight ratio, fuel efficiency at various flight regimes, thermal signature management, and the ability to sustain high performance over extended missions. The details of the actual engine design remain classified, but the performance implications are clear. The F-47 is almost certainly capable of supercruise, sustained supersonic flight without the use of afterburner, which confers both a tactical advantage in terms of speed and a strategic advantage in terms of fuel consumption and range. The avionics suite is perhaps the area where the F-47 represents the most dramatic departure from previous platforms. The concept of the aircraft as a node, a high-performance sensor and communications hub embedded in a broader networked system, requires avionics of extraordinary sophistication. The F-47's radar system is described as using advanced active electronically scanned array technology with capabilities that exceed previous implementations in both sensitivity and resistance to jamming. Its sensor fusion architecture is designed not just to integrate data from its own sensors, but to receive, process, and act on information from off-board sources in real time from other aircraft. from satellites, from ground stations, from the uncrewed platforms that operate in coordination with it. This last point deserves emphasis because it represents one of the most significant philosophical shifts in how the Air Force envisions using the F-47. The pilot inside the aircraft is not just flying a very capable jet. The pilot is commanding a mission system that extends far beyond the physical boundaries of the aircraft itself.